Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right. So
Yes, sir.
thank you. Thanks for the confirmation.
Evening.
Good evening. So we shall get started. I guess we still a couple of participants are still left. So we'll get started. I guess they will join in due course of time. So in our yesterday's session, we briefly discussed about the introduction part of it, how Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma is understood or categorized by industry. What is the basic difference between Lean and Six Sigma? Just the basic preview. Now, today, effective today, we shall get started with the define phase. So this is how a project will actually go through. So during the last part of the yesterday's session, we try to have the basic flow of the define phase. So typically, whenever you will be doing a project, a Six Sigma project, you'll generally see that a process of the project for be it any industry, any organization would generally follow a like a pattern, and that's how this is all about. So this is how the sequence of the events should happen. So if we are going through like any organizational challenge, how should we go about resolving it or starting a project? So first thing first, we'll try to kind of understand the problem. Now, to understand the problem, we need to collect VOC. Now, VOC stands for Voice of Customer, sort of industry jargon. Uh, that's how people usually talk about VOC is as Voice of Customer. Now, when I talk about customer, primarily I can divide the customer into two categories. One is my internal customer, and the second one is my external customer. The internal customers would be the employees, somebody who is internal to the organization, employees, uh, departments, various sponsors, champion, all the stakeholders within the organization. So these are employed by the company and they are internal to the company. And these are your customers because you would be doing the job or project for a department. That's your customer. For your boss, that can be a customer. So these are your internal customers who can give you a project, who can share a project related like issue, and a project can be identified or picked up because of their needs. External customer is the actual real customer. So I will say real customer, which who actually pays for your product or services, whatever industry you're in. So they are real customers. You could have suppliers, you could have vendors, and so on and so forth. So anyone who's an external to the organization, these people are not employed by the organization, but technically we do a lot of stuff in order to ensure that their needs are taken care of, they are satisfied technically, because we're doing the work for them. And like probably even for the supplier or vendor, they will be, they are not within the organization, so they could come and share challenges with what, like if they have been facing any challenge with the way you function, they can come back and share those challenges, and accordingly you will be able to kind of sort it out. So that could become a project also. Real customer, definitely, because they are the one who's paying for the product or service. They have certain expectations. If you're not meeting those expectations, they'll come back and
Shashi,
complain. Yes.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yep.
Kindly repeat once because there is some audio issue with my system, so that I miss initial part.
Okay, that's fine. We just got started. So technically,
Okay.
we were trying to say like whenever you're doing a project, the first thing is to identify what is the problem. So there could be a lot of challenges within an organization. The first thing is to understand what problem are you going to be working on, because there are multiple problems. Now, problems will be shared by the customers. And the customers can be quantified as like classified rather as internal customers or external customers. Internal customers are the ones who are paid by the company. Probably they are internal to the company. They're on payroll of the company. So technically, the internal customers could be the employees, the departments, the, the sponsor, the champion, anyone, probably your bosses, anyone who is within the organization. These people can come back and share that we need to improve this feature within our process. Or probably say if I'm an HR person, I feel the cost of hiring is very high, so we need to reduce the cost of hiring. Probably the operations guy feels that no, we are creating a lot of scrap. We need to reduce or minimize the scrap because that's eating up our profit. Well, that's the project. So that's within an organization when you want to do continuous improvement, like when you want to improve your level of performance at any level, be it revenue, productivity, performance, quality. These projects could be internal because the internal customer has demanded it, and this could be anyone within an organization. External customers are the one who are really like who are not pay on payroll of the customer of the company. Technically the real customers who will be paying for your product, for your services that you supply. The suppliers, the vendors who provide the required material. So if there is a problem, they could even come back and say, well, we have a problem with your process, the way you do it, the way you share your requirements, they're not clear, because of which we don't end up providing the information or products or the raw material to you in the right way. So the projects can come because of these suppliers or vendors also. Technically, be it internal customer or external customer, they will be the sources of finding projects. They will be the one who will be complaining about something, or they will come back to you and say that we need something to be changed. uh, Moving on, when we have these customers, like we collect voice of customer, like technically what is that they're complaining about, what is that that's wrong, what is not meeting their expectation. Now how do we collect those requirements is a question. uh, I'm sure like we all know a lot of methods, but it'll be good to know some methods that you can probably share. How would you collect information?
survey,
Absolutely.
interview,
Absolutely, yes. What else? Definitely
Feedback.
yes. Feedbacks. What else can we
I
use?
think social media now is a
Absolutely yes. Without
big
any,
impact now.
absolutely yes. Online presence is a great source of knowing how your business is doing. You're seeing 1-star rating, that means you're bad. People are sharing feedback there. Comments there. Well, it's bad service. Don't use them. 5-star rating,
Product
great
review.
service. I'm sorry.
Audits,
Product review.
Product reviews, absolutely.
audits,
Audits, yes.
focus groups,
100% correct.
research, marketing research,
Absolutely yes.
scorecards.
100%. These are all trigger points for you to find where you are lacking. So technically, there are a lot of ways. We all know how we could go ahead and collect problems from the customer. Now, technically, we covered like most of them. I would like to just add a couple of more because more of like we all know these are very basic stuff. But yes, their methods. Surveys are very common. Surveys are very common. People conduct surveys to understand how people or the customers are like, do they like the product or services? What can be done just to get an idea. Interview you interview you the customer to understand what is wrong. Technically, who best can explain what needs to be done. Why not speak with the customer directly? What's wrong? Help us understand. We would like to improve our services. Feedbacks shared by the customers are a great source of improving your performance. They are good. Feedback should be taken positively. Even a negative feedback is a great feedback. The customer still believes in you and is ready to share the feedback. So rather than taking it negatively, they're a great source of improvement. Social media, again, you can't take away social media in current dynamics. Like globally, when we talk about social media, is sort of now the only probably channel now which is contributing, where people are always, almost everyone is present. People share views, feedbacks, how they feel about your product or service. Product reviews are done. That's how you get to know it's good or bad, how people are liking it. Audits a great source of knowing where do you stand as compared to the standards. Focus group meetings are done within an organization. And when I say focus group meeting, I will say like it's across departments. So it's not within a department, but you call, say if I'm an HR guy, I want to do a project within HR department. I will call for a focus group meeting, which will in which I will invite people from different departments, the people from operations, quality, training, finance, IT, administration, different departments. Come and share your views. What is that we can improve upon? Well, Why I need to do this? Because these people are external to my department. They have a neutral opinion, and they are sort of a customer to me, because in some shape or form I am linked with them and they are linked with me. Because of my activities they are getting impacted, and because of some of their activities I'm also getting impacted. So somebody who is not a part of the problem, if HR department is a problem, these guys are external to it. They will have a neutral opinion. They will tell you that you're right, here you're right, and here you're wrong, because they are neutral. They're not a part of the problem. For me, it will not look like a problem. Why? Because I am a part of the problem. It is business as usual. I've been doing the same job day in, day out, day in, day out. It nothing looks wrong to me. But somebody who's an external one will be easily able to spot the issue and tell you, well, you are not doing right, because they are not a part of the problem. They don't have any vested interest in your process or business as such. Market research, definitely a great source of knowing where you're going wrong or how people are looking at your product or services. Scorecards will help you understand, like with comparison to your competitors, how you're doing. Like there are a lot of, like you call it, balanced scorecards are there. You do a lot of review, like comparison in terms of marketing scorecards. You can, like say, the performance scorecards. You could look at yeah, performance benchmarking. There are various ways you could try and see and compare your services with respect to the best in the market. Now these are the ones which are very commonly used. Well, other than this, I just want to add on one more thing so that we are clear about the process. These are, I'm sure we all must be aware of CSAT, which is Customer Satisfaction Survey. So we do customer satisfaction survey. Let's take an example. I have a restaurant, and 10 people had their lunch or dinner or something, well, in my restaurant. And out of these 10 people, when I took their customer satisfaction survey, 8 people said, well, they are okay with what they got. One person said it was excellent, and one person said it was pathetic, really bad, horrible experience. I will never come back to this restaurant. Well, if I go by the logic of customer satisfaction survey, I'm sort of doing great job. I will be scoring myself as 9 on 10, because only one person said it's bad. Customer satisfaction just reviews your services or your product on a level of either you're happy or unhappy. That's it. So if even if you're okay, the customer is not unhappy. So pretty much I will count this as 9. And one person, well, you can't satisfy everyone in the world. So I will say I'm doing a great job. But trust, this is an obsolete thing. The sooner we get rid of this CSAT as a model of gauging your performance, the better it is, because good companies have already dropped this logic of CSAT survey. It's an outdated thing. The latest version, which is again an outcome of CSAT, because it's unclear picture. It's like giving yourself pat on the back and saying you're doing a great job, whereas you're doing a horrible job at this stage. You are doing technically a horrible job. This is not the real. It's like rosy picture, and creating a rosy picture for yourself, and like telling yourself that you're doing a great job. That's what CSAT is doing here. Let's understand what has replaced or an updated version of CSAT. We have NPS and NDS. Now, anyone would like to share if you have heard about NPS or NDS before? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes. What would be NPS and NDS?
So basically, NPS is currently used in BPOs.
Okay.
Okay. Like same as CSAT, they
Mhm.
are using it as NPS. Like uh, I'm not aware of the full form of NPS
Yeah.
currently.
Okay. Net
It's Net
Promoter
Promoter Survey, I believe.
Score, and
Score,
this is
sorry.
Net Detractor Score.
Exactly.
Detractor Score. Now, uh, technically, it's used across industry, uh, like within service industry, within manufacturing industry, come what may, whatever industry globally. If I talk about most of our clients in Europe, they are using this. Most of our clients in US, they are using it. In Middle East, people have already started. In India, we've been using this. Technically, if I cover like most of the people with whom we are connected, the definition of performance benchmarking has changed altogether. This is the latest method, how industry wise, people are tracking their performance and gauging themselves. Are you really doing good? If your net promoter score is good, you're great. If your net promoter score is bad, technically you're bad. Now let's understand what is my net promoter score here and how do we assess that. Like in this case, I will say my net promoter is just 1 on 10. I'll explain the logic behind it, but that's how my performance. When I said 9 on 10, I was happy about it. That was my net promoter score in this example. And my net detractor score is again 1 on 10. This 8 is nowhere. Now let's understand what the basic logic of net promoter score is. I like watching movies. Like, so, say, I have, one of my friend whom I regard very, like, so one of the best, like, one of my best friends, say, childhood friend. This guy he saw a movie and he came back and shared his feedback. Well, this is an amazing movie. You must go and watch this movie. And I'm sort of going to see this movie once again with my friends. Why don't you come along with me? Well, the way he praised about the movie, I got excited because I love watching movies. So I also, based on my friend's recommendation, I saw that movie and I was thrilled, amazing, So I started talking about it. I went online. I gave a 5-star rating and I wrote a big paragraph, amazing movie, worth value for money and all that stuff. And I started talking to my friends and family. A lot of people who regard my suggestions, they also saw that movie, and this chain started. Who was benefiting from this? The movie maker, probably the multiplex guy. They were getting free business. Did anyone ask me to do this publicity or advertisement? No. But why I was doing it? It's a human behavior. Like customer behavior analytics was being searched, it got into it, like to understand the human psychology, how we react. And there was this one common fundamental which came into picture, that human beings, whenever they're happy or excited about something, unknowingly they talk, they express word of mouth, they express their views. If they're happy about something, they would like to share the joy, the happiness with people. They would express in many different ways, probably by writing a blog post, an article or something, by talking to people. But they will share, they will become a self-proclaimed advertisement campaign, doing advertisement for somebody who has not paid them, but because I feel like doing it, I'm so excited, I do that. These people are loyal. Why? Because they're thrilled by the services or the product they have used, and they're happy. This is genuine feeling because nobody's paying them, nobody's asking them to do it. They're feeling like doing, like they feel like doing it. This is the real performance level. If your net promoter score is high, that means you're really doing well, because these are genuine feelings of the people who are using your product or service. So companies, when they want to give a business, they would conduct nowadays, they will hire an agency to do a net promoter score for the vendors who are likely to get a job, and they will get to know NPS of those vendors and see which vendor has the best NPS, and the business is given to that vendor nowadays. That's the way things have changed, because these are genuine feelings. It's not like sort of like paid once, and that's why it is a preferred choice of most of the corporates. Similarly, if I talk about net detractor score, this is opposite, just the opposite. These people are so harmful for the business. Why? Because even if you say, if I am planning for a vacation with my family and I go online and I say Airbnb, and I try to find a resort, a beautiful resort, fits in my budget, looks amazing, and but there is a 1-star rating and a lot of feedback, like the unprofessional people, bad hospitality, and stuff like that. Even if it fits in budget, everything is fine. I would not try to go and pick up a phone and say, clarify with this guy, hotel resort guy, but is this feedback correct or not? There was a possibility that I could have given the business, but no, I would not do it. I'll probably look out for something else, because I don't want to spoil my experience. Somebody has already suffered. I would like to take feedback and learning from that, and I would not like to repeat the same mistake which somebody has probably gone through it. These people are net detractors. So these are real genuine feelings. Your product or service must have been really that bad that you pushed someone to that limit, that this person wants to expose you publicly. You prompted somebody to go and post a big paragraph, talk to people that these are fraud, don't use their services, this product is bad. So these are again genuine feelings. If your net detractor score is high, then you're really bad. Technically, projects are done to increase your net promoter score. So yes, where do you have that kitty? This is the kitty. These people just said okay. Well, they're not saying you're great and they're not saying you're bad. So yes, I would like to go get back to them and would like to tell them like, see, honestly, when you said it's okay, I'm satisfied. Well, trust, we were really taken aback because we give our heart and soul in ensuring that our customers are delighted. We must have missed something seriously, and please help us understand what else we could have done to make your experience great. So the projects are done to convert these into net promoters. And similarly, there is a project which are done nowadays to convert detractors at least to a excellent, not an excellent one. Obviously, can't just have a overnight shift, but at least convert them to a satisfied category. Apologize, refund, whatever you want to do. But yes, definitely you must have pissed off somebody really bad to kind of curse you for that one. But this definitely projects are done to reduce this net detractors to at least, because when you reduce the count, it helps you reduce your net detractor score. So these are the new metrics which are used nowadays as a project metrics. The performance is gauged because these are true reflection of your process performance. Is that okay with everyone? Net detractors, net promoter scores.
A small بس clarification يعني please correct for me if I am
Please.
wrong.
Please.
Now regarding NPS, it consider only the excellent, not the okay, only the excellent, only the great
Yes.
reviews.
Yes.
So
let me
one of 10
explain.
here means the excellent.
Yes.
Net detractor score, one of score برضه consider only the pathetic, not the all okay. So it's 1 on 10.
Yeah, so basically now, like in general, how scoring is and how rating our scales are used across industry. If customer has scored anywhere between 1 rating to 6 rate on a scale of 1 to 10, it is called as the detractor score. So this is where most common scale which is used across it. So somebody has given you a score between 1 to 6, it's detractor. Somebody who has given between 7 and 8 is going to be considered as like satisfied, but would not be called as an excellent one. And the one which have scored 9 or 10 are the ones who will be called as like these are the promoters of your organization. So this is the most common scale used by, I would say, 99% people globally. So this is the scale which is used like wherever we have done projects where we have seen people or other consultants, other companies using the scale. They have been using this scale. 1 to 6 is the detractor. Even banks have similar criteria for designing a plan or offer. Different customers get different kind of promotional offer based on their review ratings, and that's how they classify the customers and they create a plan for depending on what kind of feedback they have shared. Is that okay?
It's okay, thank you.
Perfect.
It's clear mostly, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Now, pretty much the last thing in this list of voice of customer. So these are ways of understanding it. Other than this, one more thing, which is the how you collect this information. Nowadays, there's something called mystery shopping. You call this mystery shopping or ghost shopping also. This is the latest version how corporates are collecting voice of customer. The latest trend. When you do ghost shopping, you collect this information of net promoter, net detractor through mystery shopping also. So how you could do this mystery shopping? Now, I can become a customer myself. Like say if I am a service provider, like a Vodafone. I am concerned about how people are treated when they call my customer service. Are they given proper information? Would our customer service representatives, are they polite to them? Do they give like the callback number and all that stuff? Are their complaints are resolved in the first case or probably whatever? Basically, I want to understand if I like whether my customers are treated in a right way or not. Why don't you become your own customer? Why don't you make a phone call, an anonymous phone call, behave like a customer, call your customer service and check it out, because that's how your customers will be dealt. So that's what is a mystery shopping. One way of doing a mystery shopping, that you become your customer yourself. Use your own product, use your own service, and just get to see how good or bad you are. And because that's what your customers will be feeling, that's one way of doing it. But corporates, they hire an agency. This agency will have these people who will be acting like a customer. They're not the real customers, but they would act like a customer. Say there is a some sort of shopping mall, some supermarket where my product is being displayed on one of the shelf. So this guy from this agency would will just be walking around my product in like a and with no cameras, absolutely like a normal customer, and would randomly catch hold of somebody. I would say, "Excuse me, sir. Like actually, I was trying to buy this product. I was recommended by actually one of my friend that it's a good product. Uh, have you ever used? Just needed some advice. Like, if you have used this before? Well, if this guy, because there's no camera facing, you're just trying to seek an opinion, and this guy has no cameras as such. So people will give you honest opinions. It's not fabricated answers. So you're seeking help from someone, a genuine help. What are you trying to do? You're trying to assess what are people talking about, how people are talking about my product or service in real world. I don't want to hear those fabricated responses. No, I don't want to hear those paid responses. I really care about improving my services. I want to hear the real truth. What are the people talking about? So this is why this guy would generally ask this customer. Well, this guy might say, no, this is a great product. Well, you should definitely take it. Or else, if you might hear, well, this is a good one, but it's better off you take the other one because that's cheaper and like has better performance than this one. So you know what your product is being compared with on what grounds. That will help you with some insights as to A, is your product good or bad? Who is your best competitor? On what features your product is lacking? On what features your product is being liked by the customers? Technically, you want to understand how is the current market dynamics working in favor or against your product or service. That's what is technically followed by nowadays by all the corporates. This mystery shopping agency, a professional agency who's dealing into service, is doing it, be it hospitals, be it hotels, be it any kind of service provider, any product. They do a lot of such mystery shopping globally. It's done, not a particular continent, but everyone is doing it at corporate level, because you really want to hear the real truth, the market sentiments. That's what you will be able to get hold of when you're doing mystery shopping. So technically, there are a lot of ways you can adopt. See, because there would be a lot of people don't participate in service. You might be just able to get hold of your real customer, talk to the customer. If you have like a client who's sitting in front of you, giving you feedback, definitely these options were available, will always be available. But the way the industry is trending, it's dynamic. There was a need to come up with something better, and technically there's no better option right now than this mystery shopping to collect the real voice of customer. That's how it's been trending right now, I would say. If unless like something better version comes in, but this is the most updated version of VOC as of now. Is that okay with everyone? Like, so VOC part?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So say we have collected data, and that's a raw data. A lot of information has been collected. That's a raw data, absolutely raw data. And I cannot make any sense out of this raw data. It's absolutely bizarre. It's tons of information, and I cannot make sense. So what I need to do is convert that raw data into a structured data so I can make some sense out of it. So what is that we need to do? We need to classify the VOC, which is a raw data. I need to classify that. We use affinity diagram for that. Now, what is the meaning of this affinity diagram? Let's understand that first. Affinity, the word just means love or affection. So basically, what do we do in affinity diagram? What's the purpose of it? Number one, it will help us group same or similar VOC into one logical group. So what we will be doing is grouping them, same or similar ideas together. A very, very simple stuff. Again, from a project management, this has been picked up from project management one. Second, the benefit of using an affinity diagram, you will be able to remove duplicate ideas. So we'll just get unique ideas. And then you have another, like technically data collected can be used for further analysis, and we'll understand what kind of analysis can we do with the data that's been collected as a raw data, whatever you have collected once you have completed your affinity diagram. Let's take a simple example so that we can kind of make this affinity diagram right away just to get an idea. Say same restaurant example. I had this restaurant where people were, say I have this restaurant for good like almost a decade. Pretty much everyone knows my restaurant in the city. But last 6 months, I don't know what has gone wrong. Number of new customers have gone down drastically. Very less new customers come in, and my competitors are getting like the business from me. So all those people who used to come, new customers volume, I'm barely getting any new customer. Even the old customers, the repeat customers, my loyal customers, they don't seem to be coming to my restaurant. So my revenue has gone down drastically. So I collected some VOC, some voice of customer, through various methods. What could have been different problems shared by different customers? Just any vague number, any vague information, like what could be different complaints that customers might have?
Quality of food, service provided,
Service
delay,
provide, delay in
Change of
service.
cook.
I'm sorry.
hygiene,
Hygiene, absolutely, without any doubt. Hygiene, cost too high, price, so portion, say too less.
property ambience,
Absolutely, ambience. Uh,
service, stop service.
yes, so staff. So I'll say, is like staff behavior. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, staff behavior. Say parking facility, offers, discounts are less. Say we can talk about payment options. Uh,
Communications.
I'm sorry,
Communications.
communication,
Inconsistency of
Customers.
taste,
inconsistency
of taste.
of taste. Okay, perfect. And we could get so many such, like, so just for an argument's sake, say we got like a list of such problems. And while we collected these problems, we got, obviously a lot of people would have complained. Some customer might have given you 5 problems. Some customer might have given you 1 problem or 2 problems. So I'm randomly putting some number just to get an idea about how to deal with this. Randomly putting some number uh, to construct this affinity diagram, so we are clear about how to do it. Now these are the different types of problem, and these are the number of complaints that we got. So I am going to make some changes purposefully. I am talking about 67. Okay. All right. I guess this could be, say, 22. Okay. Let's freeze it here. So we've got these many complaints, and so some customer might have complained, like given you multiple complaints. So I'm just have a total number of VOCs. I've got 850 VOCs. Say we surveyed 500 customers, and out of 500 customers, I got 850 VOCs, because some customers could have given you 2-3 different problems. That hygiene is also a problem, ambience is also a problem. Somebody might have told quality is a problem and payment options were not there. So we could have got multiple complaints. So in total, I have got 850 reviews from, say, 500 customers. We've completed. Now this is more like a pivot kind of thing, where I have kind of rearranged, summarized the VOC. How do we go about creating an affinity diagram? So number one, I talk about the first VOC, which is this quality of food. So people are complaining about quality of food. Food quality is not good. So I open up a category, a group called quality. So all quality issues will be put into this group of quality. So I will move this quality of the food is not good. So I move in here. That's very simple stuff. Service provided was not up to the mark. So quality, that can't go into service. So I have to open up a new category called service. This is a new category where I'll move this service provided was not up to the mark. Delay in service, again related to service. Hygiene I can move into quality. Probably yes, I can, like as a group, there's nothing wrong or right. So if we feel it's a part of service, we can move into service. But more of hygiene related, I'll say put it into quality. Cost is too high. Neither it can go into quality or service. I will rather create a new group called profit decision. So the management is more like profit centric, and they sort of want to give less of make it little pricey, and that's why people are complaining that the price of the food is like very it's very expensive. So profit decision is another category where we would probably want management to look into it. Uh, say cost is high, portion is too less. Again, both are profit decision. Like management wants to give lesser food and keep it still highly priced. Ambience, I can put it into service, uh, or what I can do is I can create a new group called infrastructure. So all infrastructure related issues can be put into this group. So and we can rearrange the group once we've done it. We can rearrange, we can rename. That's not a problem. Staff behavior will be a service related issue. So what happens in real world, people group together. The people who are into the project will be grouped together and sort of create this. There will be discussions, debate whether it should go into this and that. Again, there's nothing right or wrong. It's just about creating some sort of like logical group so that you know what are those probably the most frequent areas where we are lacking. So for now, I've just kind of tried to, this is technically your affinity diagram. Nothing so fancy about it, but that's what is affinity diagram, wherein we try to kind of regroup ideas into same or similar groups. So I know there are a couple of infrastructure related issues. There are issues related to profit decisions. Most of the problems are related to service. Some problems are related to quality. So we've got like now, rather than like a raw data, you've got a structured data to look at. And this is what my customers are complaining about. And technically, I have covered almost every possible complaint that my customers are unhappy about. If I solve these issues, my customers will be happy. So these are the areas where my customer wants me to focus on. So I have regrouped it, which completes my affinity diagram. I have been able to remove the duplicate ideas. I got only the unique ones. And the data collected, this data which is collected, it can be used for analysis. And I'm not sure how many of us would have heard about Pareto chart. We'll be working on Pareto chart. So this kind of data can be used in a Pareto chart. So I will quickly show it to you. How does it look like? We'll be doing it later, but when the time comes in. But yes, this data can be used for Pareto chart also, which is a prioritization tool. It will just want to show it to you, like at least we know where this data can further be used for further analysis. If you want to fix a problem, when do you use a Pareto? That's also we'll be talking about. But more like how the data needs to be plotted is what I'm concerned about. Like, so I have the issues. This is the data, and this is the number of issues that I have. Copy paste this data here. Oops, not here. Just here. This is type of complaints. And let me just get rid of this column. And count. So Pareto chart looks something like this. We will be doing Pareto later on, but still, at least we know while we're working on this, what is it all for. That's how your Pareto chart looks like. It helps you prioritize which is the biggest concerning problem, which is second highest, third highest, fourth highest, in decreasing order of priority. And what further it can help us, we'll understand that as we go ahead and understand, get into that phase when we got to be using this. We just to kind of let you know, we will be learning about something called 7 quality control tools. We generally refer them as 7 QC tools. 7 QC tools. There are 7 quality tools, and Pareto chart is one of those. So Pareto chart is one of those 7 quality tools which we will be learning. So that's how Pareto chart looks like. So when we talk about 7 QC tools, we'll technically learn about this in detail. It gets used in industry. What's the purpose? We'll all understand it, but it's like you need data like this. For that, you need data in this format. The type of issue and the count of issue. If you have data like this, you can make a Pareto chart. So That's more about the affinity diagram. Now, is that okay with everyone, the affinity part?
So one doubt here.
Yeah, please.
So won't the numbers matter? Like for example, in so taking the example of the service sector, suppose regarding all these points, the total number of people who are complaining of service is 32. And
Yes,
when we come to the profit decision, the total number
right.
of people complaining about profit is approximately 80. So
Yes.
naturally, the concern should be more towards the profit. How do we define that?
Okay, that's so that is where the reasoning of Pareto will come into picture. Absolutely the right question, and that's where Pareto chart will come into picture, and we will be discussing this as the first thing because Pareto chart will is a prioritization tool. So how would you select these are different projects. All these could be a project objective. So you can't work on all of the problems. So you can't solve world's hunger in one day. So yes, one project has to be selected. And rightly pointed out by you, probably I have like a lot of complaints coming from one area, some complaints from other area. Which one? So absolutely correct, and that's why I haven't closed this Pareto chart graph, because I definitely want to talk about it, because that's one area. When do we use Pareto? So prioritization tools, this is one of the prioritization tools, and we will be talking about few more. So this is where, how would you select? It doesn't matter in affinity diagram, but the data collected can be used for further analysis should you have a concern like the way you talked about the numbers. Do the numbers matter? If when would you get into that zone, we'll be just discussing next, because that's where, if the number is your concern, if you concern about the numbers, then definitely. But affinity diagram has nothing to do with number. It just wants the unique variables, unique information. That's it. So Pareto chart will, if you have to select one project out of it. Now, what is the purpose? Why would like which one has to be picked up? That needs to be understood. And there, one criteria will be number-based criteria to select a project. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Let's understand what are the different ways how you select a project. So one is number based, as you rightly pointed out. One is way based on the numbers, like which one is the maximum repeating problem, the highest problem. Say parking, I've got payment options. So technically, would the number matter? That's a basic question in selecting a project, and that's where we will be talking about few techniques. Now, number one is the Pareto chart. So without any doubt, Pareto chart is the a tool which we can use for selecting or finalizing a project, that which one should I work on. When do we use Pareto? It is based on frequency. If you wish to reduce the count of issue, complaints, or error, use Pareto chart. Simple as that. If number bothers, if your management has given you a target that come what may, I need the number of complaints to be reduced. Number. I want the errors to be reduced. You have invoicing errors, you have performance errors, whatever errors, the count. If your count is a problem, it doesn't matter where are you reducing it from. The total number of complaints we got is 850. We need to reduce it and bring it below 200. Number is what matters here. Yes, then Pareto chart is the right tool. Why? uh, it just looks at number. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look at, that's my biggest constraint or drawback, I would say, with Pareto. It doesn't matter what this number is all about. It doesn't look at the left side. It just looks at the right side, which is number. It just looks at the number. And Pareto chart, I'll quickly show it to you. So remember this, don't use Pareto if you are trying to select the project based on importance. If you're trying to select a project based on importance, then Pareto will be a wrong tool. Why? Let's have a look at it. The biggest problem, the most concerning problem as per Pareto is parking. Why? Because there are 167 complaints on parking. Well, is that a real threat to the business? I would say no. If your product or service is that good, people will, yeah, people did complain, but is that a business threat? No. But Pareto will always pick the highest frequency first. Look at second, payment options. Well, is that something because of which your business will fail? I would say no. But Pareto doesn't look at the type. Pareto looks at number. The third one definitely matters. Quality of food. definitely matters. Communication probably definitely matters. But look at this. We have 12 complaints of hygiene. Nobody bothers. And Pareto will never prioritize this. If you want to pick projects based on importance, sorry, it's a wrong tool, because if your problem is not highly repeating, then it will never be picked in Pareto. Like staff behavior, probably 22 people complaints are that staff misbehaved. Isn't it a big problem, a threat? Somebody might file a lawsuit. There could be issues, bad publicity. Unfortunately, Pareto will never pick up staff behavior as a project. Why? Because it's not on the left side. Pareto always creates in a descending order. Always the highest problem first, the lowest problem. And if you're trying to select a project based on importance, this is a wrong tool. But if you want to pick the project based on count, and your management wants just to reduce the count, best model. Is that okay and clear,
Yes.
everyone?
Prakash,
Yeah.
have a small question.
Yeah, okay.
So when you, as you're saying that Pareto chart is basically used to reduce the numbers if the management requires so, right?
Yeah.
So in that scenario, so why would the management look into that in that way? Because I'm pretty sure the management will also have those kind of understanding, right? Like the numbers might not matter always when the business has to flourish. So why is Pareto chart still in business or utilization?
Okay. It is used, like, see, when you're, say, when you're like, this is about different types of complaints within the entire organization. But when we talk about, say, a business operations, like, say, we're talking about a particular, just a small subset within a small subset. See, we're trying to work in a factory, and within a factory during the production process, there are multiple issues which happens. Within that, all the issues are important, but which one is most frequent? That's where, like, so all issues would be, so if you're making a product, and all the issues or all the errors because of which product becomes defective are important. So I will use Pareto there to find the most frequently occurring problem because of which my product gets defective. So that's where it is relevant and makes more sense to use Pareto. But when you mix things across, then it will be wrong. Say within a particular department, probably a lot of errors could be there within HR problem department, within an operations department. When you do it within a department, you will not get such different kind of issues. But Pareto chart is just about, like, see, selecting the highest repeating problem. Now, why we try to kind of use a Pareto? Because the effort which will be required to solve this problem will be similar to efforts required on this problem. Problem is a problem, the effort will almost be safe. So when I'm trying to put in effort, why put in an effort which is like just going to solve like 10 problems for me? Similar effort will probably solve a big chunk of the problem. Like, another name of Pareto chart is 80-20 rule. And 80-20 rule is basically, if you look into 80% of your problem, like technically it's about roughly this is your 80% of your problem. If you solve this, your biggest constraints will be solved. Your most of the problems, so 80% of the problem will be solved. So don't run after all the problems, just try to focus on this area. This will consist your 80% of the problem. Once you're done with this, pretty much you have taken. So don't, it always demeans the lower frequencies. So it's just about prioritizing, given everything when you work on will eat up your time and effort. Now you want to prioritize and utilize the and people, effort, money in a right direction where you end up fixing a bigger chunk of the problem. So don't just pick any problem randomly. And if you want to fix the number, definitely that will be the right choice. It is still in use, because where you don't end up using like different things like this, they're different stuff, but within a production process or within a particular departmental process, all issues would be important. But within those all important issues, which one is the most highly repeating problem gets prioritized by Pareto. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Second tool which we can use definitely for this Pareto chart, other than Pareto, is these are based on importance. If I want to pick a project based on importance, then I have a choice of multiple tools. So if I am working on based on importance, so this is based on count. This is count based. if I am talking about importance, then I have a Kano model. I have ISO 13053 2011 version. I have viability model. I have weighted CTQ prioritization model. Uh, and we'll kind of quickly go back and explain this also. If you're trying to solve a problem based on uh, cost and time, based on how costly will be the project, how long will it take, then I have a cost time matrix to select a project. If your criteria of selection, small companies, mid-scale companies are very much concerned about budget, time constraint. So for them, a cost time matrix will make more sense. You have an option of picking based on risk. Then you have an FMEA as a risk selection criteria. And technically, you can look into a lot of other methods. This list is an endless list because if you search for prioritization options, there are tons of them. But technically, if you know these, you technically have an upper edge. You know when to use what. Let's understand first thing first. Kano model. Now, a lot of people call it as Kano also, but the right way to pronounce this is Kano. It's named after the person who created this model. It is the way currently the market dynamics work. Quality is defined. Kano model is based on importance. It will not give you a project directly. You have to use Kano. So you have an option of using Kano plus. So ideally, you can use Kano plus ISO 13053. So it cannot give you projects like straight away. You can use Kano. It can be used as a first level of filtration. Kano plus viability model. You can use Kano plus the other one, like which is the weighted CTQ. So Kano can be used as first level of filtration. That's what it is. Or for that matter, Kano plus weighted. Or you can just use them as it is. You can skip Kano also, but I would not recommend doing that. And there's a purpose, and probably will be able to understand it right away. Weighted CTQ prioritization method model. I'll get rid of this. Let's understand the Kano first. So when you talk about Kano model, it is, give me one quick second here. Let's kind of get this resource tab. I'm sure everyone would have downloaded the files from the like Google Drive. So let's have a look at a small, like simple method of, yeah, that's how Kano model looks like. Now, first of all, let me just give you a brief idea about how this model looks like. This axis is my functionality axis, this one. It's either functionality of your product or functionality of your services. So product, if I am like, let's take an example of a cell phone. If I have a cell phone which has 0 features in it, I put it here, no features in it. If I add some features, my product is say 25% functional. 25% features are there. If I add more features and make it 50% functional, it moves here. I add more features, 75% functional, and 100% features, the phone is fully functional. So 0 to 100% functionality. If you're delivering a service, 0% service delivered, 25% delivered, 50% delivered, 75% delivered, and 100% delivered. So this is degree of implementation of your product, features, functionality, service, whatever you're delivering to the customer. That's this axis means that. The other axis that we have, which is Z or Z axis, this is this one. This is customer satisfaction axis. Customer is disappointed, absolutely frustrated at this point. As we move up, the customer satisfaction gets better, better, better. Here the customer is neutral, neither happy nor unhappy, satisfied kind of thing, indecisive. As we move up, the customer becomes happy, happy, even happier, 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 delighted, thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So absolutely disappointed till delighted. So this is the customer satisfaction axis. Now, Kano model is based on these 3 curves. This curve, the diagonal one, and the one which is on the top. Let's understand the purpose of this curve, because Kano model works on these, the logic of these three curves. Let's talk about the first curve, which is this one, which is the lower one, the lower quadrant that we have. Okay, so the first curve is called basic needs or minimum requirement curve or unstated needs, whatever we may call this. Again, different people call it differently, but what is the meaning of this curve? Now, all the features which if like, or rather any feature if absent in your product or service can lead to failure, business failure. I would say business failure. Your business, your product, your service will fail altogether if these features are absent. That's the basic fundamental. Now, if all such features are present in your product or service, customer will not even notice them. These are thankless features. If any one of them is absent, customer will be really irritated. That's a funny one, but that's how it is. If every feature is present, customer would not even notice them. But even if one is missing, the customer will be really irritated. Your business, bottom line, uh, your business existence is at stake if these features are missing. Now let's understand with an example here. Say I have a I want to buy a cell phone, and I walk into a showroom, like some shopping mall, where I pick up a cell phone, like, and this guy tells me about all the features. It's the best phone that we have and just recently launched. It has got like 100 megapixel camera. You can recharge your battery once and it lasts for 30 days. You don't have to charge it. Everything unbelievable. Sir, there's just one problem. You can't make a phone call. You can't send an SMS. Well, I would not call it as a phone. If I can't send an SMS, you can't make a phone call, I'm not going to call that as a phone. So this is a basic feature which must be present. This is what makes a phone. If you can't make a phone call, you can't send an SMS, it's no longer a phone. So these are the basic features which must be present. If it's not there, your process, your product, your service will fail altogether. Then having all those extra features will not help, will not serve the purpose. These are minimum requirements in your product which make your product a product or service. So you must have this. Like, say for example, you check into hotel and you get into your room and you don't see a bed there. Well, absolutely, you're going to pick up a phone and say, receptionist, I don't have a bed in my room. Instantly you have your serious disliking about this service that you got. Like, the bed has to be there. Well, think about a situation. Well, would you ever pick up a phone and say, thanks, receptionist, I have a bed in my room? Or probably, well, thanks, salesman, well, you give me a phone, I can make a phone call and I can send an SMS. No. If these features are present, you would not even notice them because they are supposed to be there. But if they are not present, then you have a serious problem. These are unstated needs of the customer because customer expects them to be there. If they're present, they would not even notice them. It will never come to your notice because you expect them to be there or automatically. Yeah, if they're not present, then you're really irritated. Having all these basic features will never excite the customer because the customer is expecting them. It's not an excitement. It has to be there. So just try to see this. If I have less of such basic features, it falls on this curve, my satisfaction is low. If those basic features are not present. If I add more of such basic features, customer satisfaction increases but still below satisfaction. I add more of such basic features. It still is below satisfaction. I add all the basic features, still below satisfaction. If you have all these basic features, still it will not cross the level of satisfaction. Why? Because customers would not even notice them. But if you don't have them, then you have a serious problem. Customer will instantly notice them, that this is irritating. Your product doesn't. You don't have them, you have a serious problem. You have all of them, it will not come into notice because it will not even cross the point of satisfaction because these are expected to be there. Now, if you uh, look at the other curve, which is this curve is what we generally refer as, let me just cross this off, uh, as, let me just very quickly, competitive curve, performance curve, one directional curve, unidirectional curve, whatever you may call this, but these are those features with which we compare our product with competitors. If you have those features, customers will be happy, else not. Well, you have to choose. The customer may demand everything, but you can't get the entire pie. You have to be satisfied with a limit because, see, a customer might want the best of the camera quality, everything best, but would like to pay a very nominal price. No, that's not possible. So, yes, you can't get everything. You can't get every customer in the world. Yes, you have to understand one segment has to be picked up. Customers, these are also known as stated needs of the customer. Customers would ask specifically, I need this. If you can provide it, well, customer is happy with you. If you don't, customers will try for options. Keep this in mind. You can't get every customer. So this is where you have to draw a line. The customer may demand anything. Do you really want to provide those services and get that customer base? Yes or no? Your business call. If that allows, your business ethics allow, business like logic allows, strategies allow, the vision of the business allows, go for it. Like, for example, Apple never tried to get into the segment of mid-size, budget-size phone. No, Apple had a very clear vision that we will only look for a premium segment. So they never cared about the customers who are looking for budget size phone, low scale phones. No, technically their product was all their objective was always about quality side, like premium segment. So stated needs customers who needed a cheap quality phone, a budget size phone, they neglected that segment completely. They only focused on one segment and they try to kind of improvise and be the market leader in that segment. Say when talk about other phone brands, when talk about like these phone brands nowadays, we have Realme, we have Xiaomi, we have Samsung also. These were generally dealing with a low size, mid to a mid size budget size phones within which there were competition, and you're competing on various parameters, battery backup, camera quality, and all that. And you wanted to be a market leader on that. Different one, say if I love battery backup, probably in today's scenario, within a budget size phone, I will pick a Realme phone, which gives me an ultra fast charging budget size phone. Normally, this feature comes with the flagship phones, which is like generally very highly priced. But now they have Realme has come up with a delightful feature, which can give you like a 50% charging within 10 minutes, and that's amazing thing. So on, if the customers are looking for ultra fast charging, yes, they have captured that market. So yes, you have to decide as a business when you collect voice of customer, what are those features which I can provide, because customer can desire anything. You can't keep satisfying every customer. You have to take a call there. So yes, it's a call which the business has to take, the business owners have to take, to see what are those features what customers are looking for, which they're complaining about. Some companies we do want to take care of that, some companies we cannot, or probably we do not want to take care of that. We're ready to let go those customers. This is where we segment and filter out some of those VOCs. So these are directly proportional. These are directly proportional to customer satisfaction. Like Samsung has just recently into launched themselves into they understood that Apple is the only like they're unchallenged, like they were unchallenged in that premium segment. So they were the only one who were dealing into very highly priced phones, and they had no competition altogether. Samsung, who was dealing with low to mid-sized phones, they launched their new product, which is like ranging, and it's almost at par at the most costliest phone in with the iPhone, and now they are competing with them. They're trying to kind of compete in that segment. Now Apple has a competitor as Samsung, which has that highly priced phone. Now they do not want to leave that segment also. As a management of Samsung, they want to venture and get into that segment which they never catered to. And now Apple has a competition there also. So these are directly proportional to customer satisfaction. Let's see if customer is asking for certain features. You are giving less of them. Customer satisfaction is less. You add more, customer satisfaction gets better. You add more of such features, customer is happy. Whatever the customer is asking for, you're giving it. More of such features you're giving, customers are happy. Customers are thrilled. You give everything, customer is absolutely thrilled, delighted. Everything the customer asks for on this curve, this is customer is thrilled. You don't give it to them, the customers are unhappy. Directly proportional. Now you got to decide what features you want to add to make them happy, what features you want to let go of, because whatever features you're not giving, customer, though that segment of customer will not stick around with you. Like I was a fan of Samsung phones, but I let go of Samsung because of battery backup. Well, I never liked the battery backup, and then when I had options, I moved on. So different people can have different reasons. So people, it is the choice of the people, like the management, to see if the customers are complaining about something, and do I really want to do I care about that, and does that number or volume matters to me. Well, then they would like to improve or ignore. Probably they have till date. Still till date, I feel Samsung has a problem with the battery. So that's my perspective. But yes, they haven't worked on it as other options have worked. Third is the final one, which is delighters or exciters. Now these are funny ones. Why? Because if so, all these are those features when offered, customer will be very happy, or I'd say delighted. If not, nothing changes in their life. Well, they have no clue about such a feature. Well, that's a surprise. That's a pleasant surprise that you give to the customer. Surprise. That's what you're going to keep in mind. These are delight, absolutely thrill. So whenever you offer anything which is delighter, which the customer is not even expecting, because customer has no idea, even if you offer some of it, customer is going to be the happy segment. You offer more, the customer will be happier. You offer more of such exceptional surprises, customer will be happy. You offer a lot of such surprises, the customer will be really happy. This will always be in a happy segment, because why? Customer is not even expecting them. Let's take a simple example. Like because of my training and consulting assignments, I keep traveling, and because of my travel history, one of the hotel chain, which is Taj Resorts, these guys upgraded my basic suite to a presidential suite. Well, honestly, in my wildest dream, I would not even care about booking a presidential suite in Taj, because it's damn expensive. Well, these guys did it free of charge. Well, in my wildest dream, I would not have asked for a free upgrade, because I never knew that's possible. A, and these guys didn't charge me anything. Well, wasn't I super excited? Yes, definitely yes. I was super excited. So these are exceptional offers which are offered. Customers have no idea whatsoever, and you surprise them pleasantly. They're happy, excited about it. Well, you are having a dinner, and all of a sudden, see this side, like one lucky person gets a bill waiver today for this dinner, whatever. Well, that's a super, like, this is not planned, I'm not aware of it. Well, I'm happy about it. Like when you nowadays, a lot of such restaurants have got this anniversary or birthday cakes, where they, like options where they keep track of your anniversaries or birthdays, and they'll come with a cake. So all of a sudden, well, that's how it. They just want to make you feel special. Why? That's a delighter, so that you remember and you're happy about their product or service. Now, delighters has to be used very carefully. Why? Because it hurts. It hurts badly the company. Why? Because once you this Kano model is a dynamic model, and it's not a fixed model. So once your Kano model is, when you're creating a Kano model today, it's not going to be same 6 months down the line. Why? Because keep this basic fundamental in mind. Kano model is a dynamic model, and it keeps changing with time. A delighter will become competitive, and a competitor will become basic feature at some point in time. Delighters are pleasant surprises. Now, when I go and book a suite in Taj, uh, if they give me a free upgrade, am I going to be surprised? No. This time I'm aware that's going to be that's possible. So right now, that is no longer a delighter. You can't keep surprising me with the same old stuff. Give me something else. That is given. I know you did it last time. You should do this time also. So that has become a competitive feature now. I will demand. That's a stated need. Last time you gave it to me, job done. Give me something else. So delighter would be something over and above. This is, I know, this is no longer a delighter. A free upgrade now is given. Now when I check into Leela or some other Marriott, I'll tell them Taj gives me a free upgrade. Why aren't you giving me a free upgrade? Now that has become a competitive feature. So delighter was one-time surprise. Job done. This is a new demand of the customer, because customer is now aware that such a thing also happens. So delighters will turn into a competitive, and hence we have to be very, very careful how we use this tactic of giving a delighter with a clause that this is exceptional offer, time based, one time, all that stuff. But yes, people have to be very careful, because then customers will demand it, and they will sort of make perceptions about it. Well, you're given it, once they've tasted the blood, they would ask for it. Bottom line, it's a competitive feature there. All competitive features over a period of time will become a basic need. Just think about like a 10 years ago, when you talk about phone, there would be there will be a question: are you talking about keypad phone, or are you talking about touchscreen phone? Now when we talk about phone, we always mean a touchscreen phone. We talk about, like, so when you talk about phone, there was an option whether is your phone supporting WhatsApp, Facebook. Well, now we talk about a phone which definitely should have a excellent camera, should support WhatsApp, Facebook, emails, and everything. Bottom line, the definition of basic has changed. It's no longer calling, it's no longer SMS. It is, the list of basic has increased, because market is changing. This market is rapidly changing. So yes, when you collect survey, you get to understand, when you plot this on a Kano model, you tend to understand how this market is changing. The market dynamics have changed. You can't expect the customer to, like, because see this, if you do not understand the current dynamics of the market, you will be outdated. Because if you treat a basic as a competitive option and not offer this, people will not be taking your services. Got to keep this basic fundamental in mind. If your product or service is not up to the mark as per the market standards, then people will not prefer it. So it's very important that people who do frequent surveys, they must evaluate the survey on a Kano model to see, has the trend changed? For any of these features, can that be put on basic? Is that basic now? Is it competitive now, given the current marketing dynamics? And then look at your product and service. Are you complying with that or not? So bottom line, this is how it can help you segregate the tons of VOC you have collected in 3 different segments. So first level of prioritization, it can't give you a project directly. Definitely, yes, it can't give you a project, but it'll help you segregate. Why? You must make sure your basics are in place. If any complaint that your customers are making falls into the basic segment, you're done. Bottom line, you must fix this. Otherwise, you will not be in the business. Forget about competing and being a market leader. If any complaint falls into basic, that must be your topmost priority. When you have covered every basis in the basic feature, then look for the which features you would like to cover and become a market leader on that feature. That's a secondary thing. So it helps you segregate the list of VOC that you collected into three different segments, and then you sort of take a call. That's how the Kano model helps you, but it cannot give you a standalone project right now. Hence, you need to use this with some additional tool, which will finally give you a single project. But yes, uh, this will be done along with the management, the ISO version or any other model selection. So when you want to go to the management, you don't want to go with to them with 20 different types problem. Yes, so first you've done the filtration, you have got like 4 5 only problems, out of which your project needs to be selected. So when you want to go to the management, you want to go to them prepared rather than 20 different problems, then why they have hired you. So that's why we must do the first level of filtration, remove the ones which are not required, filter them out, and take the only ones which needs to be discussed with the management, and then you have those models to finalize it. Now, is that okay with everyone? Is that clear? Okay, Kano model, or if you have questions, we can take it up right now.
Sashi,
Yes,
how, see, you told us how the Pareto chart is plotted, right, with this
right,
tool. So
right.
how the data is fed into the Kano model?
It's like so there's no tool for that. I technically you end up making this on a like a PowerPoint with those basic so you just end up creating a PowerPoint slide and then you sort of type in there. There's no tool for the Kano model. Just you sketch it. Basically, you either you sketch it or you do it with a basic PowerPoint tools, because there's no tool. Ideally, you just collect survey and you put it on these, like this one. So if I were to probably write down, this is on this curve, I will write down, say, calling. This is how I'll put it. Say calling here. Oops, whatever, calling here, SMS. I'll just type in here, so I know what are the features on this. I'll say camera quality here, battery backup here.
Then
That's how.
how are we going to gauge the parameters? In Pareto, we had the numbers, right? How are we going to gauge the parameters there
No,
if it is a manual plot?
it's a manual plot. We're not gauging anything with the data being collected in the previous step. We are not looking at the numbers here. We are, if we want to go with the Pareto version, then pretty much we're looking at numbers. But number doesn't matter. We are looking at importance. So importance, we just know need the type. So is quality of food, you want to call quality of food as a basic or a competitive feature or a delighter? No, quality of food has to be basic. You have to be there. Hygiene has to be basic. Inconsistency, people have complained about inconsistency of the taste. Well, that is again basic. You have to be consistent, otherwise you'll be out of business. So people complained about service provider. Again, that services could vary. You could compare the service level with A versus B versus C. I would say this is a competitive feature with which different levels of services can be there. Delay in service, again, people compare with services. Staff behavior, I would say this is not comparable. People will stop coming to you if you don't fix this. Payment options are comparable. It's not basic, like without which your business will fail. Communication, well, I wouldn't say that your business will fail. Definitely it's a competitive feature. You say there it's easy when you communicate versus that restaurant. You got to see, is that feature if not present, will your process fail? Yes or no? If it fails, then it's a basic feature. Like cost is too high, well, that's a competitive feature. If your product is good, pretty much people will still buy it. But because of which, yeah, people do compare with the cost. Yes, portion is too less. People compare. With that, I go to that restaurant. They give me enough portion. 4 people can eat at a time. Offers and discount, we compare. Ambience, we compare. Parking is what we compare. So bottom line, when we have the features, we're just looking at the features, because numbers we're not looking at. If you are going with number version, then use Pareto. You're done with numbers. We're just talking about the complaint type, and we want to select based on importance. Which one is most critical here out of this list to be picked up as a project?
No, I got that, Prakash. But if you could kindly go to that Kano model
Yes, yes,
PPT.
yeah.
Okay, so assuming the hotel industry, hospitality industry, whatever the points you
Mm,
had there, if I have to plot it here and present it to my management,
mm,
right? So the Z and X and the Y axis.
right.
Now, in the middle, you said that the third curve, they are called delighters or excited. The
Yes,
second
yes.
curve are the competitive or the performance, right?
Right, right.
So in this, if on the basis of importance I go, right, the hygiene or the uh,
Hygiene will
uh,
come here. I'll type in hygiene here. I will type in the staff behavior here. All this will be typed in here. the basic features. So these are the
And how
basic
we are
features.
deciding that? Like,
As a team, we're discussing, we're trying to understand, is this something which we must work on, or else our business will fail? Hygiene. And if I don't take care of the hygiene, pretty much
no, no,
nobody's going
no.
to
I
come.
got the importance. I got the importance part. But how are we going to say that the in the below curve, the hygiene will be marked in this particular section, not in the upper section? Like, if it is
Not in
going
this
up
one.
and down. Yeah.
No, not in this one. You're talking about this
Yes. Like how we are deciding that, as because we are just going with the importance, right?
Yeah, is it so? Would you like to put hygiene as a competitive feature, or would you like to put hygiene as a like a basic feature? If you're putting hygiene as a competitive feature, then you're going to be like this entire curve. Technically, we're talking about entire
Okay.
curve.
Got it.
Okay, it's just
Got it.
categorization. You're just grouping them further.
Okay. Okay. So in that scenario, then hygiene should go on the top, the first one, right? The
Uh,
basic needs.
yes, basic needs here. All those features which are most critical ones will be here. The ones with which you are comparing, like cost, parking, all that will be listed here. The competitive field.
Okay. Then it's my bad. I did not read it properly. I was counting it from the top. It is from the bottom. We are going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, got it then. Yeah,
Okay,
got it.
perfect. So
Sorry, Mr. Shahi, بس
Sir?
please
yes,
يعني
yes.
I still not got it. يعني if you could repeat Kano model ده briefly كده. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. So when we talk about Kano model, it's technically, see, when you it's just about classification of whatever you have complaints. Whatever the complaints, I guess somebody's mic is on. Okay, let me just put that on mute. So we are trying to classify the number of complaints that we have received. We want trying to classify them, all the complaints. Are these complaints basic complaints? Okay, let's kind of put this list here. This is all what we have done. Let's try to solve it so that we have an absolute clarity here. Quality of food. Would you call quality of food? People are complaining about that your quality is not good. Is this something without which if you continue with bad quality, would your business fail? Yes, it must be there in the business. So I'll say this is basic feature which must be addressed. So this is a critical feature without which your process will fail altogether. Services provided, people say there is standard or the quality of services not up to the mark. Probably I'll say now uh, service level standards are different for different restaurants. So uh, this is probably our level of it, but pretty much if our food is nice, people will still come. So the service level could be up and down. So I might still say this is a competitive feature with people might be comparing my restaurant with the other restaurant services, and the service level could vary. But because of this, my process, my business does not have a immediate threat, or without which my process, my restaurant may not fail. So I'll put this as a competitive feature where it's not an immediate threat which will shut down my business because of my services are not up to the mark. But yeah, quality, people will definitely, it will be really bad for me. Delay in service, I'll still say it's a competitive feature. People compare services with one restaurant versus another restaurant. It's a competitive feature with which we compare. Hygiene, well, it is a basic feature. You can't compromise this. It must be there for whatsoever. So basic feature. People compare the cost. So that's a competitive feature. Well, it doesn't, because customers might still complain that the cost is too high. It doesn't mean that your business will shut down. If your product or your food is that good, people will still be ready to pay for it. So it is not something which can be said like, now because your cost is too high, your business will shut down. No, if your quality is good, people will still come. Well, the food tastes is good, people will still come. So it's a competitive feature. People compare one versus another. So that's a competitive feature. Portion is too less. That's again a competitive feature. People compare the portion. If I spend say $10, I get say two people's worth of meal in one restaurant, and another restaurant I just get like just a meal which is sufficient for one person. That's what is competitive. Ambience, we compare. It's not that the ambience is if it is not great, your business will shut down. No, it's the restaurant is going to serve the purpose which is meant for the food. So it's a competitive. People compare different ambiances. Staff behavior, well, that is people are Talking about this is a fatal thing, which would, if people are misbehaving, well, then pretty much business existence is stake. That's basic. Having a parking and not having a parking, well, definitely is a competitive one. My business is not dependent on the parking. Offers discount, again a competitive one. Payment options, again a competitive. Communications, well, there could be challenges. People compare. There, I have to kind of tell 2 3 times to make sure people understand it. Another restaurant, the guys are so clear, they understand about it. Well, again competitive. Inconsistency, well, if there is inconsistency in the, this is basic. Your food cannot have inconsistency. This is basic. You can't have this. So basically, what when we try to kind of look at the type of problems, as a team, we will sit down, brainstorm. And there's nothing called right or wrong. Given the current dynamics of the market, as a team, what do we feel? Is it something which we must work on? If I don't work on, my business will be closed. If that's the case, then I call it as basic. There's no other criteria. As a team, unanimously, as a team, as a business, or this as a group of stakeholders, we're trying to sit together and analyze these complaints from the customers and try to see, is this something which we must work on? Otherwise, we will not be in the business. If that's the case, we all agree with that. Yes, it is something which we must work on. That's a basic one. Other than that, we'll be able, like, if it's not, we can still work with it. Then it's a competitive. You can choose not to work on a competitive one. Should you want to ignore that complaint, yes, you can, but you will lose that segment of the customer, but your business will not be shut down. Is it clear now?
So one question.
Yeah.
So like you said, Kano model is a dynamic model.
Right.
And as we know that most of the industry, they work on the past trend. So how do we define when there's a fine line of difference between a delighter and a performance need, or per se a performance need and a basic? Well, basic and performance need, I think it still can be understood, but when do we essentially bifurcate between a delighter and a performance need?
See, delighter is something which is generally not uh, like customer is not expecting, and will be unexpected, some sort of, generally in this will generally eat up your profit margins. This is in some sort of return that you're giving to the customer in form of exceptional discount. Well, let's take a simple example. On my American Express card, when I go and dine in, I get say flat 10% discount. On my Citibank card, I get flat 10% discount. Now, American Express has come up with a new offer that, like, for this period, within say a span of 20 days, if you use this, you will get extra 5% discount. That's not a general feature. I am getting 10%. I know that's a competitor. I probably Citibank gives me 7% and Amex gives me 10%. That's known to everyone. That's a competitive feature where we compare what's the general discount when we go to restaurant, what's the discount I get on my Citi card versus what I get on Amex card. 7%, 10%. I know which one offers the better discount. So if I am looking for a card which gets me better discount, I'm going to choose Amex. What if all of a sudden Amex wants to like promote or the sales and everything, wants to do something, some more promotional stuff? They come up with a 15 days offer that for this period, if you spend something, you get extra 5% offer. That's where it's a pure marketing strategy. Like, it's just about, but for during that time, technically you are losing out on some more extra profit which you could have made. But it's just about coming up with something at certain interval to make sure the customers are engaged and they feel happy about being with you. That's it. But these have to be used very carefully so that people are clear that this is not a regular feature. Otherwise, people will always expect that from you. So it's a limited time offer only for this period. That's how it's used. And that, because if you make it a regular feature, like, I'm not sure, like, so if, in India we had a feature like which we had Airtel, we had Vodafone, uh, and we were paying for calling charges, every minute charges. We were paying for data. We were paying for everything. All of a sudden, Reliance Jio came in, and it changed the definition of telecom industry. Like, unlimited calls, unlimited data for almost a year. Everyone enjoyed it, and probably more than a year. That was a delighter for a pretty long time. People got addicted to data. People got addicted to unlimited calling. That was a delighter. Nobody could have offered, and other telecom providers had to upgrade. Otherwise, they would have lost the market. Now that delighter ended, but now people have sort of they started charging for this. We had to create a plan, but obviously delighters, till the time you're running those delighters, you are like you are sort of losing out profits as a business. You can't have delighters run for that long period because it eats up your margin. Definitely Reliance had enough money to kind of deal with it. So they did it because they wanted to get into market and eat up market of the other telecom providers to create a monopoly, and that's what they were successful in doing that in that period. I hope that sort of answers your question. It's just a extra over and above, and that you decide as a strategy. Marketing people sort of decide what needs to be offered to the customer. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. How about
Yes.
everyone else?
Yes.
Okay. It is 10 o'clock as per Indian time. Let's take a 10 minutes break. Let's be back at 10:10 and resume from there in 10 minutes.
Sure. Before we go on a break, I just wanted to clarify, like as you said, Kano model and also Pareto chart.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, these are like seven QC tools, right? One
No,
of
no,
the seven
seven.
QC
So
tools.
no, Pareto 7 QC tools we will be studying when we are into analyze phase. Pareto chart is one of those 7 QC tools which can be used for prioritization also. You are
Okay.
selecting a project, and there are different ways of selecting a project. One could be a Pareto chart, one could be a Kano model, and there could be other models also which we'll be discussing. Different ways of selecting a project. Now depends on what is your purpose.
Okay.
We have methods of selecting projects. You can, so nothing is right or wrong method. You have options. Select whatever, choose the option which you feel like, which is you're comfortable with. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. So let's
Mr.
connect.
Fashi, thank you طبعا
Yes.
for the clarification. بس يعني please regarding the representation on the diagram could بس برضو repeat it. Now I got the difference between basic and competitive and how to prioritization it. But regarding I was the diagram, how the
Okay.
representing.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's come back after the break, and
Okay,
I'll
okay.
explain the chart. So let's connect in 10 minutes
Thank you.
from now.
Thank
All
you.
right, perfect, perfect.
شكرا.
Uh, are we back from the break? I guess we still have a minute, but yes, it'll be good to know we all are back.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just wait for a minute and we'll get started then. So we shall be discussing about this image, how to interpret. Technically, see, you end up creating this image on a PowerPoint tool uh, by sketching it, like using those arrows and all, because there's no technically a tool for you to create a Kano model. It happens as if you have a lot of such ideas that you collected after affinity diagram. You have a lot of such complaints or issues of the customer, which could look like this, a list of possible reasons. Now, as a business, you want to understand and filter out which ones are not so important for you to focus on right now, based on importance. So, given the current business dynamics, current business situation, you would like to figure out as a group of people who are process experts, like general managers, supervisors, anyone who is a key people within the organization, to sit together, brainstorm, and identify with the champion as to what are the things we would like to figure out. We have collected the complaints. Let's understand which one are most critical ones, which one will be the second list of items, and which will be my third list of items. And how do we segregate them? We segregate them on the basis of basic ones are the ones without which my business will fail. Performance ones will be the ones with which I need to choose which of the complaints which I would like to work on, which one I would like to ignore, given what my business logic says. And delighter ones are the ones which I would probably want to do it because customers are looking for certain things, and it's my discretion whether I want to give it or not, because that is going to be a surprise offer. Probably customers are looking for more discounts, something like that. So this delighters are technically no brainer, but which is over and above, uh, which is not a regular feature. You surprise them. Now, coming back to the chart, so that we understand the chart, uh, we're talking about this curve only, which is the basic curve. So all those features which are critical for your business, all the complaints which are critical for the business, if you don't take care of them, your business will shut down. So you'll write them down anyway here on this curve. Bottom line, you'll be doing a discussion. You'll list them down here. List them down here. As a team, we've decided to say 4 or 5 complaints that we've received. We have got these complaints to be put on basic curve. So we filtered the basic needs. These are say 4 or 5 different customer complaints, which are our topmost priority, because if we don't take care of them, we will be out of business.
Yeah.
Say these are the list of complaints that I have. The customers have given us, say 7, 10 complaints that I have. These complaints we may work on, we may not work on, because these are desires of the customer. Customers want them. Now, some complaints technically I would like to take care of because that's my business logic. I work on these customers. I want to take care of these customers. Some customers are unrealistic. I don't want to look into it. They don't fall into my business logic. So yeah, these customers I can still probably, I don't. As a business, you got to decide. You can't satisfy every customer. So some expectations could be unrealistic. We want to take, don't want to look into it. So we want to let them go. Whosoever wants to take them, these customers, let them go, because that's not my business logic. Yeah, these are the ones which I work on my product should have, ideally should have. If customers are complaining about this, I would like to improve on these features. But I can still work within the business. Why? If my basics are in place, I will be in the market. With this, I try to become a market leader. Exceptional offers are like these are offers, discounts, unbelievable like offers which are given, which probably customers are looking for. So yes, this can be given upon management's discretion when you want to roll out some sort of promotional offer. That's when we talk about. Now, how do the curves technically, what the meaning of the curves are? Say there are certain features like basic features. If you take care of less of basic features, it falls on the basic curve, and here it meets customer satisfaction is low. When you are offering less of basic features, customer satisfaction is low. If you offer more of basic features, customer satisfaction is still low. because you're offering less. Little better than that, but still low. You offer more of such basic features, customer satisfaction is still low. Customer will never be thankful for offering basic features. They have to be there. Why they're paying for the product or service? You must have these basic features in place. I will not thank you for giving the basic features because I'm paying for it. You must have them. So don't think when I'm giving you all the basic features, I will be thankful to you. No, I would not, because they would never excite me. They're supposed to be there. Is that basic part clear? Basic features?
Yes, very clear. Very
Perfect.
clear.
Then let's move on to the next one. If I am talking about now the competitive ones, customers have probably demanded 10 different features. We want this, we want that. Customers can think anything. Say, we are able to provide some of those features. Out of 10, say we are able to cater to only 2 features. Some customers will be happy, rest will be not. You are able to offer, say, 4 features out of it. Now customers are little happier than what, like, you're taking care of more of the customer, whereas those customers will be with you. Remaining customers will obviously not be with you, will look for options. You're able to, say, give 6 features out of 10 complaints. Well, definitely customers are happy. Bigger segment customers are happy. You are able to offer, say, 8 complaints out of them. Well, definitely customers are more happy. You're fulfilling the desires of the customer. It doesn't mean that you will be out of business, but you're trying to be market leader. You want to fulfill every desire of the customer. So if you fulfill everything, definitely customers are going to be with you. Whatever I need, I got everything in your services. That's what it is like. But if you don't offer them, customers will be unhappy because they will be on lesser side. These are directly proportional. You desire customers' desires and gets it. On the contrary, when you look at the delighters, customers not expecting them. You even offer a small token, say 1% extra discount. Oh, well, I was getting 10%, you giving me extra 1%. I am happy. You give me, say, 4% discount. Well, I'm more happy. You give me, say, 8% discount extra. Well, I was not expecting it. You gave me extra discount. Or probably you gave me a 10% discount. Well, I'm really happy. Probably you waived off my entire bill. Lucky draw. Well, super happy. You made my day. So these will be always in a happy segment because customers are not even expecting, and these are pleasant surprises. We get excited. We feel happy about it. So these are sort of, we create memories for them. That's how it is. Is it okay with everyone? The Kano model part? But it will not give you a project. You're not getting a project. It's just that you're segregating voice of customer that you collected into 3 different segments. Ones which needs immediate attention, ones which you would like to take care of later, and then final, the exciters will be a separate case altogether. Is that okay with everyone? If in case we are good, then we should look into the ISO model, ISO 13053. Is it
Yes.
okay? Okay. ISO standard for Six Sigma is ISO 13053 2011 version. So I will be placing this file in the Google Drive where I place the notes. The extra file, I'll place this. So this is taken from the ISO model, where the book for ISO. This is the standard for ISO 13053. Within the manual, this is a screenshot from the manual. So how it tells you, ISO tells you how you should select a Six Sigma project. What is it? What should be the criteria? If your management is standard freak, then use this ISO version. Because if they value standards, ISO, and all stuff like that, well, give them the model that we are selecting the project based on the ISO selection criteria, ISO 13053 selection criteria, which is for Lean Six Sigma projects. That's how it is. This is how it tells us. So you must have filtered out some basic problems, or probably some competitive, some problems that you filtered out. Say you could have 3, 4 different problems. You could have, so you don't want to go to your management with 10 different problems. So you have done your first level of work. You got, say, 2, 3 different problems that you finalized after Kano model. So you can list them here. So these are the projects from which you have to select. So for example's sake, in this, we only have 2 complaints. One is invoicing error investigation. So probably there are a lot of errors in because of which we are getting complaints, we are losing out money, some penalties been assessed, invoicing error, and we have low productivity because of which we have been like a profit margins are low. So there are two areas where we would like to work on and do a project. There could be more. Now, uh, in ISO 13053 are 5 questions, and these are standard. You cannot change them whatsoever. That's how it is. Customer importance, expected total project cost, likelihood of success, expected contribution to the profit, and applicability to other areas. 5 set standard questions. Now, how do we answer them? Let's understand it. So it is done with the key stakeholder. Technically, champion will be a part of it. Our role will not be about discussing or finalizing. We will not have the authority to do that, being very honest, because it is the time to select the project which is going to uh, like lead to a lot of changes in the organization. So it is going to be decided by the key stakeholder. Yes, definitely when you become a black belt, you will definitely be playing a role in selection of the project along with the champion. But honestly, at a green belt level in an organization, you would not have the yeah, probably within the organization when you're working and you hold a position where you can dictate terms, definitely you will be a part of it. So bottom line, there'll be a group of people, key decision makers, who will be sitting and analyzing uh, the project criterias. Number one, customer importance. Now, when we talk about customer importance, we would like to understand there is nothing. This is very subjective one. There could be ambiguity. How would we rate them? Now you can see this says ranking on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being low ranking, a 10 is the best. So what it means in the eyes of customer, if you're answering this question from the customer standpoint, how important is this problem? 1 means not important, 10 is very, very important, crucial. So, given the current situation with the way business is going on, probably as a group of people, we all sit together, finally come to consensus that given the current dynamics, customer is really irritated, complaining, penalties been assessed because of this invoicing error issue. So this is a critical problem as of now. Yeah, low productivity is also a problem, but not that big problem right now. Customer is more complaining and furious about it, about this one. So as a group, we give a higher rating, and there could be subjectivity because there is a subjectivity that people can have difference of opinion. But as a group, we have to settle down, reach to a consensus, like be it average out, or probably say bottom line. When you say something, I may say a rating of 6, you might say rating of 8 or 9. I should be able to explain my perspective, you should be able to explain yours perspective. As a team, you should be able to settle down and reach to a consensus. Final verdict, when in case of a conflict, is taken by the champion. Champion is the head of department for whom the business is going to be done. So the champion takes the final call in case there is a conflict of and there's a difference of opinion, people are not able to settle down. Champion takes the final call in journal scenario. So say we gave a rating as a group 8 on 10 and 6 on 10 for customer importance. So this is more critical from customer standpoint, and this is less critical right now. Customer is not making too much of noise about this one. Now, this one we can help the customer, the people, the management to decide expected total project cost. So we can create a small table. So this is just a sample. So project cost. So cost table can be created, which numbers make life easy. So I'm just randomly putting this. You can create your own scale, $0 to $1,000, say 1,000 to $2,000, 2,000 to 3,000. You can create your own scale. This could be in a bigger scale also. Well, it doesn't matter. Scales will be uniform for everything. So everything will get rated on same criteria. So 4,000 to $5,000, and so on and so forth. Now, cost lesser the better. So rating of project cost lesser the better. Lesser cost, better rating. More cost, less rating. As the project gets expensive, it becomes bad. Technically, cost is bad, so we'll take it as negative. So, as a team, let's understand, discuss, debate, understand if you were to do a project on invoicing error, what will be the tentative cost. As a team, we'll sit down and discuss about all those things which we might have to incur to complete a project on invoicing error, a ballpark, a vague figure. And based on that, we will look into the cost criteria, cost scale, and see what is the rating. and accordingly. So probably similar scale was created, and this was found to be very expensive project. If you work on the invoicing error part of it, this because low rating means very expensive project. Whereas if you work on improving the productivity, it was sort of midway. So the rating, when you have numbers, the job can be made easier. This is about how we can help the group of people to settle down at a rating when you have some template to look at. Next one is again debatable. Why? Because again, there is no numbers to look at. Likelihood of project success. Now, here the management needs to be honest to themselves. Say, I may be any kind of company, but my desires are to become a like a blue chip organization, a company where we work with artificial intelligence. Well, desire, you can desire anything, but let's be honest. Do you have experience of doing a project like this before? A, do you have enough resources, manpower, support, the technology, culture, how people are resistant to change? Are people like, is there already a culture of doing a project? Given the current, the total dynamics of the organization, and the ease of it, like how easy is to do a particular project on this one. So given all those criteria, it was understood that, say, probably we have done similar projects on similar issues earlier also. So we are more comfortable in doing a similar project of invoicing error, because last time similar thing happened, we did it, and it was weird. Now we have an idea how to do it. So we relatively, this will be much easier for us to complete given the experience, the knowledge we have. Whereas we probably would have done, but this took longer time. This is a little difficult project to kind of complete as compared to, so given the historical relevance, the resources, the manpower you have, the like probably the subject matters that you have, experts you have, we will try to see how difficult is it. Let's be honest, and about the competency level that we have to deliver this project. Here again, numbers can help. So we can create a profit table. So profit works the other way around, higher the better. So profit table can be created same way, but it will be in a reverse order. Profit lesser would be bad. So rating can be given. So given, we will see if we work on this, if we reduce this invoicing error, how will it impact your profit margins? Probably you're paying penalties and all that stuff. Rework is happening. So there's some cost. So if you take care of this issue, how much it will improve your profit margins versus when you improve your productivity. This was found to be much better than this one. So as a team will, again, so lesser rating for lesser cost, higher the profit, better is the rating. So we're pretty much, we got a better rating for this one. And finally, again, a debatable, not, I won't say a too debatable topic, very important for all Six Sigma projects. We look for applicability to other areas. Now, a project, once you're done, has to be replicable. So you need, it's more like an effort benefit analysis. When you put in effort once, you want to repeat the benefits again and again. When you do a one Six Sigma project, you should be easily able to replicate the project in different locations. If your business is at multiple locations, so if you have done a project in Dubai, you'd like to repeat, say you have another location in Riyadh, you have one in New York, one in London. When I've done a project in Dubai and I have other locations also, I should be easily able to replicate the project in other areas because I have a proven, tried, tested technique and it works. Why can't we replicate? We have improved this operations. Why can't we improve operations to other location? We've done a project in training. Can't we do a project in training in other locations? If a project is easily replicable, it is nice, it is easy. And not only within the same department, in other departments also. You've done a project in operations, you can reutilize a lot of material, templates, trackers, information that you created in one project can be reused in another projects. But if a project is done very specific to a particular thing which is not relevant to other, like hardcore IT project, sorry, that may not be easily replicable, because if I've done a hardcore IT project, it may not be so relevant, basic operations, HR, because that's specific to a given problem. I may not be able to replicate it too easily. Probably I will be benefiting, but probably one project only. So a project which can be easily replicated will be preferred. Again, this was probably chosen as not so easily replicable, but if you improve productivity, the logic, the learnings from this can be replicated easily. Bottom line, we as a team sit down and set these numbers, come to consensus. Next column is project priority number. It tells you the column value in the F is the product of A to E. So you multiply A multiplied by, like say 8 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4 gives you this value. Similarly, you multiply these numbers, you get this value. So this tells you the project priority number. This gets maximum priority. So that becomes your project number one. Having said that, I'm not saying I will not do this project. That will be my second project. Once I'm done with this project, this is the second project in line. So that's what ISO version explains how a project needs to be prioritized. Now, if anyone has a question, can definitely pitch in. Is that okay?
Yeah, Shashi.
Yeah.
Pick up this, right?
Yeah.
In this, and also in Kano model, basically based on the experience, we give these numbers. Same way the Kano model, we give the priority on based on experience, knowledge of the business, right?
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
no fixed rule or mathematics behind that.
No. Define phase, nothing of that sort. It's more of,
Yeah.
see, even any phase, even if you pick up a PMP syllabus in project management practitioner syllabus, the every time whenever you go through different knowledge areas in a PMP syllabus, it will come back to one single thing. It says subject matter experience. The subject matter expert is the top rated skill that will always be used as a tool. So business knowledge, business experience is never replaceable. So well, see, when we go to a different industry, I can't go and get into a say chemical industry and teach a chemical industry guy how to do their job. It will always be these guys who will be able to do it. So whatever comes said and done, somebody who is a process expert, a technical expert, will always be the most critical decision maker. uh, our role will more so come in terms of data, starting the measure phase when the data comes in picture. Here it's more on the project management part of it. Is that okay?
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely okay.
Perfect. So that's one way. So I could have just used this ISO version only without using Kano model, but I would have used like 15 different types of issues. And when you go to the management with 10 different problems to select from, then there will be a question, why did I hire you? So that's why you would like to filter out something using Kano model, and we go to the management with only selected ones. So it looks some like that you have done some bit of your groundwork before reaching out to them. Otherwise, you collect raw data and you just reach out to the management and now select the project. That's not right. So first level of filtration can be done using Kano and then move to this ISO version. But that's just an option. So you can use different ways of selecting project. This is one of them, not just the only one. So we can use Pareto if you are talking about number-based decision. If you can use Kano plus ISO with this one, we can use viability model. Now, I will not be discussing a viability model. I will just quickly,
Shashi,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, please go ahead.
Can we can we club the Pareto model in that also?
You can
So that
select,
we
do
can.
anything. See, honestly, you asked a very, very valid question. See, these are just tools, and you are the best judge. You're the, see, bottom line, remember one thing, you're the boss. These are just tools. You decide how you want to use it. You want to club anything. That bottom line doesn't matter. Till the time it helps you and you feel that it makes sense. There's no rule around it. If you see that this works with you, great. Go ahead and use a Pareto plus this one. Absolutely okay. No hassles with that. I would not hesitate from using it. It's just that when I know the tools, how I want to use them, you're the boss. That's what you got to keep in mind. Absolutely, I will use it. You rightly said.
Okay, thank you.
Combinations can be tried. Now, similarly, you have a vibe. We're not going to discuss this, but bottom line, just going to explain. Say same Kano plus viability. Here we have 5 questions. Viability model has 15 questions. Let's quickly have a look at this. What needs to be done? So the instructions to fill a viability model has been given here. The 15 questions: is there a champion or a sponsor? Do the project goals align with the corporate goals? Is the data available or accessible? Are the defects well defined? Is the process stable? For every problem that you've selected, for which, and you have to kind of decide on every problem, you have to create a separate viability model. How it's done? Every value will, first of all, you have to look at this grade area, weight. That's what it says. Edit the weight, which is the grade scale, and as per the mutual consent with the stakeholder, give a score between 1 to 5, 1 being low and 5 being most important. So if for every criteria, with the consensus of the stakeholders, with the champion and the sponsor, you will give weightage to every question in the eyes of customer, in the eyes of client, in the eyes of the champion. How do they feel? What should be the weightage? Ultimately, they are your client, so they will give the weightage to these 15 questions based on their internal discussion. You would not be sharing this particular rating or weightage with the group, the remaining group. This is only done with the champion, or the sponsor is aware, and they are the one who are sharing these weightages with you. You're not sharing it with the entire audience. Otherwise, the the decisioning which will be done will be biased. It will be influenced. We don't want that. Weightage, when taken, they will be concealed, will not be shared with anyone. Now, rest all the fields will be zero. All the fields will be zero. Now, when you have a question, you will look into it, and
Shashti,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you. Actually, due to my poor internet connection, I lost, and I'm not able to get the viability model. Like what
we just
exactly it
started.
is.
We just started. So viability model has like 15 questions in it. 15 questions, and all these questions will have some weightage. Some weightage. On a scale of 1 to 5, weightage will be decided in mutual consent with the stakeholder. The stakeholder could be client, could be champion, could be sponsor, anyone who is this key decision maker. So we'll in with there we'll be discussing these questions. They will decide what should be the weightage given to this question on a scale of 1 to 5, one being low and 5 being the maximum weight you want to give to that particular question. So you have different 15 questions. uh, so for say you want to do a project on improving quality, so you make a quality or like a viability model for quality. Say there's a problem which is to enhance the customer satisfaction. You'll make a separate viability model for that. For every problem, you have to create a viability model. Now, all these scores will be zero when you will call for a meeting with the key decision maker, which will include the process experts, the supervisors, team leaders, managers, assistant managers who are working in that process. You'll call them up. Probably you'll have some people from training, quality, HR, relevant stakeholders who understand the business, who know the business, are linked with the business. They will sit down with, as a collective team, we will want to understand and evaluate different projects and select the most important one. So viability model, it will be created for every single problem that you have to select from. So every question will be marked with zero. Wherever as a team we select, we decide uh, answer should be no, mostly no, possibly yes, mostly yes, or just a yes. So based on that, you will be sort of giving a score. What score you have to give? Whichever is the right answer, you will just change that to from 0 to 1. That's what you have to do. So say possibly yes, we just kind of randomly put it like, so this is say zero. If this is for this one, we say mostly yes, then we'll change this to 1. So whichever answer is correct. So as a team, we say, is the data available or accessible? It says no, we don't have the data available. 1. So whatever is the answer, as a group, we will put score these 15 questions and see. The calculation is given, so whatever formulas are here. Lean Six Sigma project score for that part. Say if it's a quality related thing, we have done the scoring. The viability score is calculated. This is the table you have to look for. If your viability score is less than 2, then it's not a viable project for DMAC. If it is between 2 and 3, then probably further more investigation is required. I will still say take it as no. Only if it's more than 3, that's when I will say now this project qualifies to be called as a Six Sigma project. So the 15 different questions, please go through them. This is self-explanatory model, but yes, this is all you need is to kind of sit with the team, create different viability models, and see which one has got the highest viability score, and that gets selected. Again, there's nothing called right or wrong model. You can choose ISO version, you can choose viability model. Yeah, when you want to really show, like, make an impression, saying that I have well, when you're talking to your management, when you're talking to the recruiter, and there's a question, how would you select a project? Well, I'm able to go and tell them, well, see, when we wanted to do a project, actually we had an option of going with the Pareto chart. We had an option of with going with Kano model, the ISO model, viability model. But yes, as a team, unanimously we discussed and we agreed upon, say, viability model. You're trying to tell your sponsor, your recruiter, anyone whom you're dealing with, is I know multiple methods of selecting the right project, and we have a rational approach of selecting a project decision criteria. And as a team, we discuss. So technically, you're trying to go and put across a message that yes, you're dealing with somebody who is seasoned enough and knows various tools of selecting a project. It's very important that you should be aware. They can't be just one way of doing it. There has to be multiple ways of doing it, and that's what it is. Nothing is wrong or right. You should know every possible way, and because the more you know, the more experience you bring to the table. So that's what you have. So these are just options. Nothing is wrong or right. I hope this is okay and clear with everyone.
Yes.
I cannot get يعني here Lean Six Sigma project viability score 3.1. How we reach this result?
It is the like it's a formula link sheet. So based on these calculations, the scoring is done. This all this calculation has been done. So if you change anything, the scores will change. It's a formula link sheet.
Shashi, kindly change the background because that black numbers are not visible in the blue.
This one. So this is an editable file. Again, you will get it. So this is where the formulas are there. So that's why they've been. So you can go and change it. Like this is an editable one. So you'll have it. You can change the color coding and all as per your need. We'll put this file into the Google Drive, and you can pick it up from there. Okay. So
the formulas in this.
Yeah. All the formulas are here. All the formulas are linked
here.
How
you calculate it?
Yeah. So it's all calculated. You just need to kind of do the scoring. That's it.
And these red numbers are given by the red. You given 1 to 1 0 0 1
0 1. So wherever it's applicable, you just replace that. Say this, you replace this with 1. So whatever is the score, where based on the scoring you have completed, you will get a viability score. So based on whatever answer comes in, you will be getting a viability score.
And the numbers given in this blue strip like 1.7.
These one. Which
yes.
one? This one. These are based on the calculation.
No,
the
that is green, not in green. That is in blue strips.
These
one
ones.
Below is 1.7, then one red number. This is can the process be improved without the full redesign?
Are you talking about these numbers?
No, next one. Like 0 0 now 1. Below this in a blue strip is 1.7, I think.
Yes. So this is the formula.
How we get this
based on the formula. Based on this formula. It's doing some math. So like, so if I take off this color, remove this color, you'll see the formula. So again, you have the sheet. I just wanted to, so that we don't end up sort of changing the end up deleting the formula. So that's been kept that way. So if I just do a no fill, you'll see the formulas here. What is the maths behind it and all that stuff. So otherwise it'll confuse. That's why we kind of keep it that way. So you only edit the area, which is this one. I'll just put it back. So when you get your file, you can make the changes or color coding accordingly. Just wanted to keep it like that way. Is that okay or clear with everyone? Like these are just options and the formula linked. It'll do the calculation. Should you want to get into the calculation, you have the formula with you. But this is how the model is created. Technically, these are sheets available. So people, industry, like viability model is preferably used in US. Most of the manufacturing companies use viability model, and this is not created by ISO. This model was created within the industry by the people who are process experts based on their project. When they're doing project, they created. So it was created by the professionals, not came from a particular industry, but it became popular, very much practiced in US. So so viability model is not going to be available as such. So because it was created by industry practitioners. Are we good with this, everyone?
Yes. Only one question is there regarding the questionnaires. Okay, are these questions going to remain the same, or like it might get changed based on a project basis?
No, these questions are fixed as per viability model, which was created by those people. But again, should you want to change them, update your questions against them, please go and do it. Again, who's stopping? Because it's not coming from standard. Yes, what was coming from standard, you could not have changed ISO. Rest, everything is a tool. Again, they decided something which works for them. You can have your own set of questions. Bottom line, change it the way you want. These are tools.
Okay.
All right.
I got it.
I would change them. I can say if I don't like a question, I'll substitute it with something which I feel more important and remove something which is not, which doesn't make sense to me. It worked for them. They say probably a group of people used it. It made sense to them. Slowly, it was circulated. It became popular and people use it. Well, it doesn't mean that it becomes a norm for us, a rule for us. We will customize because you know your problem better than anyone else. So you decide how it will work for you rather than somebody else deciding for you.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll put this thing in your Google Drive. So that's how the viability model works. Pretty much there are 15 questions. You can customize your own. Given the time we have, I guess we will be able to just complete the this portion. And see, let me quickly, we have only viability model, which is left out. Cost time matrix can be used when we are trying to select a project basis the cost. Cost lesser the better, time lesser the better. So both ways, when you're using a cost time matrix, if you're selecting a project based on cost and time. Now, this is something which can be used initially when we're trying to select a project on the basis of cost and time. But we will study this not right now. We'll be studying this in improve phase. Where does, yeah, as these are just the tools, it can be used wherever you want. You want to select a project here based on cost and time, you can use it. But in real world, people use this in the improve phase when you are implementing solutions. So prioritizing solutions based on cost and time. So technically, industry-wise, people use this cost time matrix to select solutions. You may come up with 10 different strategies which can improve your project. But I would like to select the project or solution wherein I will invest lesser time and lesser money. So people use this for select in the improve phase technically. We will study this in the improve phase when you get there. Technically, we'll get to learn about the tool there. So then you're the best judge. Should you want to pick up a problem, pick this tool to select a project, you can do it. No problem. So similarly, FMEA is risk management, which stands for failure, modes, and effects analysis. This is risk based selection of project. You try to find out a project which is more critical to your business, more risky to your business. Based on that, so based on risk criteria, you try to select a project which is fatal for your business. The criteria change. Again, we will not be studying it here. Again, you can use it uh, as a method of selection based on risk. If you want to, you want to pick up a project based which to reduce which can be like whichever problem can be fatal for your business based on the risk criteria, you can use this model. But we will again be studying this in improve phase because that's where it gets predominantly used. So we will cover these tools, but in a logical sequence where it really makes sense. But yes, objective is to understand the tool, and when you understand the tool, you will be the best judge. You would like to when do you want to use it? You want to use it in define phase, you want to use it in improve phase, or you want to use it both ways, everywhere. Bottom line, you will know different tools. You choose which tool you want to use. You're the best judge, you're the boss, so you decide what to use. There's no one coming and stopping you. Bottom line, you should be clear as to what is my objective. Are you looking to select a project based on risk? Are you going to select a project based on the cost and time? Is that the driving force? Or are you want to you look at importance based? Bottom line, there are different things which drive a project, and that's what it is. Like, you would have options to choose from. Pick up anything. Now, weighted CTQ prioritization method is one of the easiest one, but very widely used. So these are the VOCs that we have, which is voice of customer. We've got quality improvement. So we want to do a quality improvement, which is, this is very similar to what we had in the viability model, but very small, short one. Say we have to improve production, and we have another problem, which is, say, customer satisfaction. Say we have to look into customer satisfaction. Weighted CTQ prioritization method will first of all again include the sponsors. Champion will come in picture, and they will be giving some rating which will not be disclosed to anyone. This weightage, because it comes weighted part is related with the sponsors and champion. It's not disclosed to anyone because we don't want people to have biased opinion based on what management said. So weighted rating weightage is shared, not rating, my bad. Weightage is shared by the sponsor or the champion. So we will go back to them. We'll ask them to kind of give us the weightage given their perspective, because we might have a, like, the difference is sight and vision. We might have a short-term perspective. They have a broader perspective about the business. What are the goals of the business from a 5 years or 10 years down the line? Given the entire big like long-term goals, based on their understanding, which is more critical. So on a scale of 100%, so they say quality, in our opinion, is 30% important. This is a 45% important, which is about like 75, and this is like 25% important. Based on this, they have, so again, technically I can't go and challenge the champion or the sponsor. It's their business. How do they rate it? Again, that's what they would be giving the weightage will be taken from the champion and the sponsor, will be kept secret, won't be disclosed with anyone. So we keep it as it is. Now we call for the meeting with other key people, like which will be the process experts. Say I will have, say, manager one, manager two, say some assistant manager. So we have got like assistant manager. We have got, say, some supervisor. We have somebody from, say, HR. We call somebody from the training, somebody from the quality, and say these are relevant stakeholders who are linked with my business, my process. HR provides, so hires the people, training kind of trains them, quality look audits the quality stuff. These are the people handling them, managers are looking, all technically the key people who are dealing with my process. Now we would like to kind of ask them to kind of do the scoring part, rating part. Now while they do it, we don't want to, we want like to kind of avoid too much of ambiguity and disconnect. So generally what we follow is a rating of 1, 3, and 9. One rating is chosen for low impact, three for medium, and nine for high. Industry wise, you will see a lot of models working with this logic of 139, as it creates less ambiguity, less of disconnects between people. Now, say manager one, as per the discretion or understanding of the business, given the current situation they are going through, feels that quality, again, there's too much of ruckus about it, but I think it's medium. It's not that big deal. Production is too hue and cry, too much of hue and cry about it. We may not doing good. Customer satisfaction, sort of one. So low rating. Manager two feels this is important. So like I'm just randomly putting some numbers here so that technically these people will be doing the discussion and debates, discussion. They will have agreement, disagreement. People will sort of explain their rating. Why did I feel so? Again, technically you buy my logic or you understand, like technically everyone will explain. It's quite possible people might change the rating after listening to each other's perspective, which is fine. Finally, we'll reach to a stage where people are absolutely adamant or very clear about what they feel is right. Well, everyone would definitely explain their perspective. You just can't pass on a number. You are in a management role. You can't just say anything just for the sake of saying it. So yes, definitely you have your bit of reasoning, and it's quite possible when I hear your thoughts, that's when I realize, oh, I'm sorry, I missed out. I never thought from your this perspective. Now you make sense. I would like to kind of update my rating. So definitely you can, editing can happen. For now I'm just saying these are the final rating what people, somebody felt this way. uh, 939. uh, but yes, we don't want to give this rating this way, like just randomly 1, 3, and 9, 3, 3. uh, say this is 9, 3, 3, and this is 1, 3, and 9. Say randomly I added some number. In real thing, people would have given the rating, then they will be disclosed, people will debate, every person will explain their logic of saying it's a high importance, low importance, why they do things so, and everyone will explain, and then people will be free to change and update the rating after listening to everyone's perspective. It's quite possible I cannot think of everything at the same time, but when I hear group discussion, we'll probably learn something, and then we can change in a data rating. This is where we get sum of rating, very common method which is practiced across. Sum of rating, which is what we take all these ratings, and finally we get our weighted ratings, wherein we multiply this sum of rating with the weightage, which is percentage given by the management. This is my final rating, and this helps me select the most critical project. This is what gets selected as the most critical project and will be selected as the project which we'll be working on, because of it has got highly rated, given the weightage given by the management and the people who will be driving it, a collective combination, both is been taken, both are given valuation. A, the weightage part. B, the people who drive the process. So both are taken into consideration to arrive at the final numbers. That's what is weighted CTQ prioritization method. Is that okay and clear with everyone?
Hello,
Yes.
Prakash.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in this weightage CTQ prioritization model, the weightage is given by the champions,
Yes.
and the rating.
Right.
Uh, so weight, the rating headers,
Right.
as in like as you said, we'll have manager, in the technical specialist, or
Right.
the
Right.
supervisor HR training, depending on whatever the issues are,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So in that, once the rating is given, as in like you had,
Mhm.
this one has been given as 3, then
Right.
9 as mentioned. Now
Right.
how do they approach that it should be a 9, or it should be a medium, or it should be a 1? How do they
So
approach
based on
that?
their understanding of the business, they would explain their perspective. Why do I feel it's a highly important one? Why not it's like a low important one? Technically, everyone needs to explain their perspective and what's the reasoning behind it. And finally, in the end, everyone needs to reach to like so whatever it's like we give value to what people have as an experience. Number one, number two, we would still want to people to look into their rating once we have allowed people to discuss, debate, agree, disagree. People can have different opinion, which is fine. And we will be talking about something called conflict resolution, where people can have disconnects, how those conflicts are resolved. But again, we will talk about this later when we talk about this team members or team part of it, because when we'll actually have the team, how conflicts are managed within the team. So yes, ratings, people can still have different opinion. And for that, like, and we talk about something called conflict resolution, which we'll discuss later. But what are the prescribed way of resolving conflict? So conflict resolution is something we'll definitely be talking about, because when you are dealing with team, you will have difference of opinion, which is
Multiple
good,
opinions.
absolutely good. We don't have difference opinion, you are dealing with heading for trouble. It's very good to have conflicts. A project will be good when you have people having different opinions. You don't want to be talking to a mirror. If everyone says the same thing, trust, you will not be innovative. uh, you would not be able to see what's lacking. You need people to contradict, you want people to explain, and that's how team is created. So we'll talk about that because the team part of it. But in general, uh, these people, technically, we understand, we believe that these people are have been doing the job, they understand the process, they understand the business. So we value their time they have spent in the system, and they would make sense with these ratings. So ideally, they would not have so like varied ratings will not be there, but more like they will be making sense. But yes, and some points people can have different opinion, because technically they understand the business. You would not, I just randomly added some number, but in reality it'll be more like saying yes, but there will be
Right.
some disconnects.
So in those scenarios, Prakash, is there any possibility the champion or the sponsor has this final say about it? Because if
Yes,
they are
yes,
the
yes.
sponsor and the champion, they should have much more visibility, right?
Conflict resolution is the last option, is you dictate terms, you tell them who is the boss. So
Oh,
that is what
okay.
it is, the last option is there, definitely is. And it is a prescribed method in a project management. The first, like, so I guess if we can spare a couple of minutes, we can just briefly talk about this. Conflict resolution would not take long, 2 minutes, I guess, at the max. Number one, wherever there's a conflict resolution, difference of opinion, let people settle differences themselves. Don't jump into every single problem. When you do that, you will be required every time. Don't make it a habit. Let people settle differences themselves. If they're not able to do it, they fail, and we still don't agree, or we're not talking to each other, there's a cold vibe. Well, that's a bad situation. Then a trained moderator, a moderator will be doing the mediation, the talking. So I talk to you, understand your perspective, and then I explain somebody else that this is how this was. Now I'll listen to that person's perspective and explain. So a mediator role will come into picture. This is how it's done. Say this also fails, this guy, they're not ready to, they're not able, so mediator role didn't work out. Then team takes the decision. As a unanimous, the team decides. Now how it's done? When majority wins. So whichever the team sort of votes high, pretty much that's a prescribed way people, the team takes the call. What if we have a tie? Yes, we can have that, get that problem also. Then the the prescribed method is compromise, which is like averaging out. Neither yours nor mine, so we average out. And finally, we still don't agree, and we're still not ready to agree. Finally, the last prescribed way is dictate the term. So dictatorship is definitely a prescribed way of uh, knowing the people, telling the people that who is the boss. That will be the last way. But it's very bad when you have to get to this level. That means team is not gelling up together. It's a right. Ideally, we should be able to settle this thing here. Worst case scenario here, we shouldn't be getting even to that stages, because we should be able to respect each other's opinion. But yes, it is prescribed and nothing goes ahead. We can't spoil time. We can't let the people kill the time. So technically, yes, it's a prescribed way, but shouldn't be we shouldn't actually come into that situation. But come what may, if you have a situation, you have to tell somebody who is the boss. So yes, you do it. We absolutely fine with that. Is that okay with everyone? uh, are we good with this?
Why when we talk about the tools, you write Kano model plus weighted CDQ, Kano model plus viability model. It means
Yes.
we need to use both together.
Yes. So see, you can use one standalone also, but I would rather use Kano model because I've collected a lot of voice of customer. I would like to first of all remove that particular like all the ones which are not important by using Kano model, and then when I have removed the ones, then I'll take up some other model out of it. So Kano model is just to kind of filter out the less important ones. First of all, that's all. First, I would like to remove the less important ones by using Kano model, and then I use the second one. Is it clear?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Let me just quickly share. So within a couple of minutes, in case don't have any other question, then we can call it a day, and give me like max 5 minutes. I'll place both the files in that Google Drive, and you can download it from there. Is it okay with everyone?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So let's catch up tomorrow,
Yes.
and please take good care of yourself. We will connect tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Professor.
Bye bye.